amount of internalized shame causes harm, period. It causes psychological harm.
Does it cause psychological harm? You're not making any case. You're just suggesting that it might.
The more you argue this part, the more I think you fucked your sister when you were drunk at some point.
Oh my God!
I think that's something right now.
Is this what we're talking about right now?
Yeah. Laura said that she has a problem with incest. She has a problem with incest.
Yeah, because it's almost impossible to have it to do it without some sort of psychological trauma. Regardless of how nonchalant you act about it on the surface.
What if you don't remember?
Oh my God, I can't believe we're here.
Did it really happen if you don't remember?
But we're gonna.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying.
John Lee's room, and this is what we're doing, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask her. She's the one who doesn't believe in objective morality, and she's a staunch atheist. So honestly,
just let it.
No, more of a post-theist idealist, but
yeah, that's what I mean. So
I'm not like one of those new atheist argument philosophy bros. No.
Cora, are you a pog?
A pog, a fat ass white girl? Yes.
Oh my God.
Really?
Dude.
I know what pog means. I get called pog all the time.
I don't know what that means.
I just told you what it means. It means fat ass white girl.
PHAT. Come on, let's be PHAT. Look at this the rosy cheeks of this little sneak. Saxon.
Who's this? Oh.
To what do we owe the pleasure of your little...
What did the comedian criticize this fucking atheist, Cora? She makes me sick. This conversation makes me sick.
Oh, stop the voice, John.
What do you call your show? The Aristocrats.
What are you using them for? Because I gotta cut them up and use into this.
You take the Aristocrats, the fucking vaudeville?
The comedy joke, the comedian's comedy joke. What do you call your show? The Aristocrats.
Yeah.
You never saw that movie, the documentary, The Aristocrats?
I think it's pretty well accepted in the comedy world that the most epic rendition of the Aristocrats was done by Bob Saget. Just saying.
Yeah. I've seen him. I saw him do stand-up at a casino, and he was very funny, very dirty, but it was really just his fame. That show, in San Francisco, what was it called with the family? Full House. Da-da-da-da-da-da. See, the sitcom is a special thing because it centers on the house, and you sit on the couch. And I've been casting myself in sitcoms on Quora. It's kind of interesting, Quora, that Sora and Suno are two really powerful AI apps. Have you used those at all? Anybody? Hello? Hello? David. Welcome, David.
So, Saxton, when is it appropriate for us to this incest? Is it ever appropriate?
No.
Mood, you motherfucker. You son of a bitch.
Because it's not.
Planting a bomb in a Nablus.
It's not. It's only...
The first generation doesn't get messed up.
So do you promote it then?
What?
Are you promoting it?
No, I'm not promoting it, but if Cora was my sister, or you and my sister.
You son of a bitch. Planting a bomb in Nablus. You're sons of bitches in Norway, you bastard.
We're on vacation.
Dude, it sounds cringe already, man.
I don't
You motherfucker mood, you son of a bitch terrorist.
The Muslims do it.
But we're not Muslims.
Wait, Megatron, what do you mean Muslims do incest? Like, that's a generalized statement. It's not, do you have any evidence, and why is it so generalized?
What do you mean? What's general about incest?
You're saying that Muslims.
General about incest.
You're saying that. Well, where in the Quran or the Hadiths does it legitimize incest within Muslim communities? And is there incest within Jewish communities and Christian communities? Well, which communities in the Mormon faith? Like, where do we see it most? Is it within probably, like a Muslim? I mean, is it because they're closed communities that they don't bring in other? Anyways, I'm just saying that to me the conversation's ridiculous, but
it's permissible though. It's permissible to marry your cousin in Islam, but majority of the time they just like to keep it within their own tribe, like mainly. It's like a tribal thing. Even though it's permissible, the Quran does advise them not to do that. To go outside their own tribe.
Cora, what do you think about this topic? Because I don't think, this is my criticism of Andrew R. and these supposed Christian rooms, is they don't really stay on topic. They don't provide any real education related to the topic of God or Jesus or, the Bible history, etc. Like Megatron, at least, he keeps the politics out of the room. And to me, the trans issue is a political issue, not a spiritual issue, not an intellectual issue. It's purely political. Do you agree with that, Cora?
I don't know what I'd be agreeing to. I wasn't in the room. I was getting my coffee.
I don't think there's a trans issue, so maybe that's your guys' problem. But I think allowing kids to be themselves at a younger age, because I don't believe in this whole body dysmorphia shit. I think this was just started so that the military could give, people in the military, estrogen, so they could find it easier and a loophole so they could get the medicine, still be part of the military. Well, they invented this body dysmorphia, so they could say they want to better their lives. So I don't really think it's a real thing. I think it's bullshit. It's a made-up term.
So what would be like the top 10 list of made-up terms? I mean, CRT, BLM, LGBTQ, DEI, trans. I mean, to me, these are all words used in political, framing and discourse. So, if you, like I've told John Lee on his show, why don't you just read the Bible? I know you're walking around and roaming, but, to me, you are a subject matter expert on Islam, just like how other people are subject matter experts on other topics. Like Cora here seems to have subject matter expertise with regards to trans and to incest and to abuse and to rape and abortion. So Cora is all or nothing on certain topics. But Megatron, do you think?
Yeah, I worked in a women's center when I was in college. So yeah.
Well, I asked you earlier, Cora, a question, and you basically said, incest, rape, and abuse. Those are the three things in society that. Pedophilia. Yeah. Like. Anyways, what was my question? What was the original question I asked you? What in society are you opposed to?
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Yeah. So what in society are you not opposed to? Like, what in society today do you just relish in and love?
I don't know. Like I said, things to me are situational.
Sure, that's the same for everybody, right?
Yeah, but I recognize that it's situational. Most people don't.
You really think that most people, whether they accept it or not, can't, exhibit and know that
I
they're.
think when they're talking about their morality, they don't acknowledge that it's situational. They talk in absolutes.
Didn't you just give us absolutes? Like 3 examples of absolutes? I mean, they're pretty absolute. Incest, rape, pedophilia, and abuse. Those are absolutes. And do you think there should be federal laws on those 4 absolutes?
Well, they are, let me put it this way, they are situationally almost universally inappropriate. Therefore, that you can treat them like absolutes.
You can treat them like absolutes, and they're situationally extreme. And so, therefore, there should be standards of legislation with regards to laws.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, but I'm not going to talk about, like, a lot of the stuff that people try to legislate is situationally ambiguous 99% of the time. So
What does this have to do with incest? I was on the incest conversation. Where does this go with incest here?
What was that, Megatron?
Where does this? I was talking about incest. What happened?
Well, we're getting back to the law, which, I think ultimately all these debate bro rooms, technically, if you can't get back to the law, like, it's just so imaginative and such a huge waste of time. So I'm trying to, because, I don't get to talk to Cora that often, and she's so opinionated.
600 fucking thousand years without a legal system, and we managed,
We didn't have a legal system for 600,000 years?
We didn't have a legal system until, pretty much, you had tribes, or I would say until you had, agricultural civilizations.
I take my boots.
Well, there's natural law even in tribal functions, meaning that, if somebody commits a crime within a tribe.
That's a shoehorn fallacy. That's a shoehorn fallacy, John. It's not an actual legal system.
I know, but there's still a herd.
It's situational analysis by people that are respected, as wise people.
No, I'm
But
saying.
it's not like a codified legal system. That's why it's a shoehorn fallacy. Is we're trying to fit. Natural law comes from Enlightenment era philosophers trying to shoehorn or understand how humans existed before their idea of what the ideal society was.
No, Cora.
And they literally interpret it through their own.
Cora, you don't know history well enough, because I've read many Roman history books, and this all predates, Western Enlightenment.
Post-agricultural, I said.
I know, but then you jump to the Enlightenment being the basis of our law. But what I'm trying to tell you, Cora, is naturally within a herd there is a law, and that law is strength. And at this very moment, Cora, you are giving up your strength, and so. Energy preservation is a very important topic.
We're just gonna call you, and I'm like, fucking guys, that's phone here. I'm supposed to call.
Sometimes I like to tell people to take the deepest breath of the day and hold it for 10 seconds.
We can't leave without you. We can't leave without you.
Did you make blueberry pancakes this morning, Bart?
I just closed that because I hate when it's open because people are constantly looking at it.
Cora, do you think you're part of a tribe?
Just get started.
Cora, do you think you're part of a tribe?
What's that?
Not me in particular, but I do think people have tribal things, particularly
it'd be nice.
Identity politics and stuff.
So what is it about you that you wish people knew but they fail to understand?
I gotta make you a key for that.
I don't have an intrinsic identity.
Those are new lights.
To me, seems like just an absurd question.
What is an intrinsic identity?
something that's immutable, unchangeable.
So can you give me an example of?
Present from the initial sort of like present from the initial event of my consciousness.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
finish what I was doing.
Get the fuck on.
So, with regards to
I
consciousness
don't know where he was.
and situations,
I never know where
do
he
you
was.
think you could force yourself into a different situation if you wanted to? I mean, primarily for money, you would, not to saying that like you're greedy or anything, but
What are you
like,
saying, like sex work or something? Like what?
no, like basically like trying to psyop yourself. Like if you could brainwash yourself for money, but
Yeah, I did that as a child all the time. For circle.
How?
I convinced myself that I was a good Christian because I had to survive. Like I behaved in that manner. I took on that role and identity. Right. I wholly embodied it in order to prevent being abused and maligned by my parents. So.
But how did you do that though?
It's called masking. I'm autistic. I do it almost like reflexively. I'm an autistic female.
But do you think so? You violated your own free will to do that, is what you're saying?
Well, the first tenet of my free will is like survival, right? The second is reducing the suffering. So, if I do things that are unpleasant in order to reduce suffering, is that really against my free will? No.
Well, what I'm saying is you view that masking as being unnatural.
It saps more vitality and energy out of me than just being myself. Yeah.
So, but you did it in order to placate, so you wouldn't have to suffer abuse.
Exactly.
So, would you call that intelligence?
Yeah, it's extremely intelligent. It's situational awareness. It's the ability to weigh cost benefit at an early age.
Is that like a chameleon type of trait, like a reptilian trait, like the reptilian mind?
I mean, I think the limbic system is definitely involved, but I don't.
What about
I call it like wholly reptilian. No.
What about the sympathetic nervous system?
It's you're constantly like trying to balance the tension between your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system.
Mm-hmm. And the other party, your abusive parents, are also trying to balance their, parasympathetic and lymphatic and sympathetic nervous systems to your balance. So in the end, what you're saying is your deceptive, acceptance of Christianity gave a balancing effect to otherwise abusive situations. So the communication of peace within the Bible brought that equilibrium, right?
No, my own situational awareness did.
What about the other opposing party's situational awareness to your situational awareness?
They're not very aware. They're covert narcissists, so they're completely self-absorbed. They don't really pay attention to other people's. They lack empathy. So.
Do you think in your own life you've also adopted your parents', covert narcissism?
No, it's quite the opposite.
You're the opposite of a covert narcissist? What's that?
I'm highly empathic.
Oh, you're an empath.
I'm a people pleaser. I self-sacrifice in order to improve other people's lives. Constantly. I always put other people before myself. It's because I was conditioned to be that way by covert narcissists. I was always conditioned to put their needs before mine. So.
Do you? I often ask people here, like, what's your most painful memory? Do you think you could answer that?
Yeah, I was being forced to suck my babysitter's son's cock and having him ejaculate in my mouth.
Jesus. Sorry to hear that. Is that really your most painful memory?
Yeah, horror show.
Yikes.
But I've had a lot of EMDR, and so I could talk about it really matter-of-factly without getting triggered.
What's
What's EMDR? Eye
movement, sensitization, and processing.
Did you have to spit or swallow, or did you have to spit or swallow?
I went and threw up in the sink in the bathroom across the hall.
Wow. So do you?
I was 7 years old.
Well, the only reason
I didn't say that.
I guess what I'm.
Before.
I guess what I'm asking, or not even asking, but like, do you think books can be therapeutic?
Yeah.
So
It's kind of like you read some books that are like I like reading the book of I won't like write the Bible up wholesale. I love the book of you know.
because do you think like the Hegelian dialectic can, basically reprogram and create new, traits within your personality for therapeutic purposes?
What are you talking, like CBT or something, or DBT?
No, just like
I
dialectic.
mean, there's literally dialectical behavioral therapy.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Which is really just reading.
I think it works for some people. It didn't work for me very well because all my trauma I generally somaticize, which is why I went to EMDR, which is more, it's a more sort of unconscious bilateral stimulation process where you basically dredge up bad emotions and then you stare at a dot moving back and forth, and the bilateral stimulation helps you reprocess and sort of compartmentalize the things so that they're not so triggering. It's almost like hypnotizing yourself, which I'm sure you enjoy. Yeah, I mean, obviously it works for some people, but there's also, what is it, acceptance and something therapy as well, where you just fucking accept it, right? You learn to accept it. I mean, you don't do this dialectical thing where you counter it. It just depends on the person and what their nervous system responds to. Because that's the thing is like with mental health, it's like people try to compartmentalize it into like all sort of like your brain and the way you think and whatever, but so much of it is like somatic sort of response to things. And if you start recognizing it, that it's like a general sort of like nervous system dysregulation rather than what you're thinking, then all sorts of other therapies open up to you that are probably more effective than like talk therapy or CBT or DBT.
What about TM, like transcendental meditation, just mantra recitation?
I think that works for some people. I mean, I don't know. It depends. Again, it's I think it's a method of like regulating. So yeah, it could probably work. People don't recognize that what they're doing is regulating their nervous systems.
Well, sorry to hear about the abuse you suffered. I've never.
What kinks have you developed since the abuse? Or
I don't really have any kinks. I did.
Megatron for the winning question.
Take control of my own sort of sexual health and identity in my 20s, and was very open and exploratory intentionally. I did shit that scared me, or I didn't enjoy, or I thought I wouldn't enjoy, just to see if I did. And nothing really stuck. I'm just generally an open-minded person, and if it feels good, I do it. That's all.
So you know a lot about like witchcraft and the occult. Like, what in esoteric philosophy or science has been, most surprising or pleasing to you?
I'm eating right now, but I'll have to think about that for a while.
What are you putting in your mouth at this moment right now?
So in the military, when they speak about getting assaulted, their soldiers. Part of the training is that they don't fight back, so that they'll survive.
Yeah, women are conditioned to do that from like youth.
Well, it's almost protocol.
Yeah, so if we're teaching physically conditioned men that same strategy, imagine what we're teaching women who just lack, like through sexual dimorphism, lack the upper body strength to fight back. Period. Regardless of how fit they are, in comparison to probably 80% of the male population.
I think the chances are higher of you actually killing him when he's done, so you don't fight back.
I mean, if I have access to something, he's going to end up with a fucking key in his eye or something. But, I'm going to be damn sure that whatever I do incapacitates him so I could, flee.
Well, that's what I mean. It would have to be like you waiting for the right moment.
Exactly.
Because you only have one chance.
Yeah, women, if they do fight back, it has to be, extreme and violent. Because you have to absolutely incapacitate the man. If you just wound them in a way that they're still functional, that just escalates the amount of harm that's going to come to you.
Yeah. This conversation make you feel uncomfortable, Lord? Who's this guy in the audience? What's up, Tim?
Hey, what's up, Greg?
What are you doing, Tim?
Just taking the dogs for a walk.
¿Qué fue? ¿Qué? ¿Qué? ¿Del carro? No, ellos me están dando dinero. No estoy usando cash. Yeah, anyways. Well, yeah, exactly. Yep.
Just find the dip on Bitcoin.
I don't know.
I was thinking about
You gotta have the money to buy the dip.
Maybe did.
Yeah, I dropped a chunk of my tax return into it.
That's interesting.
So Cora,
You into that kind of stuff.
Cora, back to the trans issue. I went to a Jewish.
There is no trans issue.
Well, I went to a Jewish synagogue one time, and they have these women that present as men. They look like little boys. And the girl that I was dating at the time, who had the most amazing ass, said to me, it's very rare for women to present as men, but it's very common for men to present as women. And I think it's because it's a lot easier for a man to present as a woman as opposed for a woman to present as a man, because
even in modern, trans medicine, it's a lot harder and more dangerous for female to male transition, simply because like our bodies aren't meant to accommodate male-sized sort of vocal cords. You get vaginal atrophy from taking testosterone, which can cause all sorts of other problems. So like, yeah, it's a lot easier to do female to male transition than male to female transition than female to male. There's a lot more risk involved. So.
It's interesting. Tim, I'm going to ask you a difficult question.
Okay,
Since you're an atheist, I think it wouldn't be that difficult.
yeah.
When is it ever appropriate for incest to be the case? Do we have any scenario?
I mean, I can't think of any. Off the top of my head that are like would make it appropriate. Like I can't. I'm sure if I thought about it, maybe if you're like down to the last two people on Earth, and you're like you're afraid that you're going to have some type of. If you all die, there's going to be no way to keep. If your goal is to keep the population on the Earth or to keep your family going, I suppose at that point you may think about something like that. But I just don't really think in general that it's a good idea.
Yeah, I would point to the same situation.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say last two people on Earth. Like, it's more. I mean, if you're the last two people on Earth that you would race assumed anyway, you've got boundary sex problems. There's no way that two people could be populated here. Yeah.
But
But
off
if
the
you're talking like
top
a
of my head,
small,
thinking about it,
yeah, like a small population, you're going to end up with, you can't, like, statistically, there's no way to avoid, you'll end up with some sort of founder's effect. There's, at some point you'll get back to a certain level of genetic diversity. But, like, I'm thinking more of, like, if you watch some sci-fi where they have, like, a limited number of people on a intergalactic
ship or something,
interstellar ship where they're, like, trying to organize, like, biologically who gets to, like, breed with who and marry who. And so, in order to minimize, but it's, like, almost impossible to.
Yeah, but then at that point, it seems like you're just like it's because you have different goals at that point, right? The goal is like we're trying to stop extinction, so we're compromising the idea of like a short-term temporary problem.
Yeah, trying to persist
breed
the
ourselves out of that.
population long enough to get to a colonizing planet.
Yeah, it just seems to me like from a normative stance. Like it's not a good idea to have incestuous relationships because there's power dynamics. There's all sorts of things.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Play with that.
From the social conditioning, I don't think it's possible to engage in it, no matter how much you feel like it's fine, without some level of trauma. So,
yeah, there's been a lot of criticism lately of I don't know if you would call that. If you're marrying your cousin, is that incestuous? Like in the same way that like there's a father knocking up their daughter. Like I don't know.
Like
Yeah.
as far as level of risk, I think it's like the differential is something like 0.0125 chance of like repeating, negative genetic factors. But it's like when you get to like something when you point to like Charles V, right? The famous Habsburg king, who was like more inbred through cousin and niece uncle marriages than brother sister. He was like at a 0.254 when like brother sister.
But if you like, doesn't it compound if you continue? Doesn't it compound?
Yeah,
like
that's what it had compounded.
Go cousin. Yeah.
Yeah, it had compounded to the point that it was worse than a brother and sister. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're saying within the Muslim population. That like the top 5 lowest like IQ populations are
they
heavily
have, like-
correlated with that with Muslim population because they have a lot of cousin marriage.
There's a family in Turkey, and I don't know if this has anything to do with cousin marriage. I should look into it. Where like the children have actually reverted to quadrupedalism. Like
Yeah, they,
wild.
well, there's also the rat people, Muslims that look like rats. I think they may be Somali or maybe Pakistani, but there's like an even subset of smaller ones that they like literally inbreed themselves, and their faces look like rat faces. You can look it up.
But what if
Well, what the
it
problem is
was?
too, it drives their IQ down, right? And then it drives them to the point where they're hovering about 85, 86, 87 IQ.
It's the same as the
there's
Winters
a
in
way.
Kentucky. They were just too dumb to quit the incest, right? Like, it's,
But wait a second. There's a way to systematically get out of any of this. If there was one main family left, and let's just say this family was of all ages, and it was first cousins and brothers and sisters, and then cousins of, and then second cousins, right?
you run a lot of genetic risk. I mean, you might be able
Rat
to
people.
hinder, but there'd be a lot of like problematic sort of like even the small things. Like for a long time,
Think about this.
for a long time, the
Let me give
people
you
on
our.
Catalina Island, right? The people on Catalina Island were more isolated. They actually had a founder's effect, sort of. It was very benign, but they had an inverse secondary incisor and canine tooth, right?
Okay.
So you could tell if someone was from fucking Catalina if they had that tooth thing going on. And that was all founder's effect. It was just because of the small population on Catalina Island and like a couple generations of like inbreeding. Like, but you know, it would if you had like an ultimate like sort of super genetically, hyper genetically diverse family with like absolutely low sort of genetic diseases, right? You still run some level of risk. Like it's going to happen.
All right, there's a systematic way though that you can risk less. You have less risk.
Yeah, you'd have to genetically test everybody.
Can you fucking let me finish a sentence? Go ahead, Cora. No, Cora. Go ahead, go. Go ahead, Cora.
It was the spaceship scenario I was talking about. You'd have to genetically test everybody.
Okay. So I think there's a way to do it if everyone is a child with every other person. And obviously this would have to be systematically. So if you and I had a child, then you would have to have a child with Tim, and I would have a child with Tim's wife, and then so on and so forth. So that eventually the gene pool will be mixed, not completely fixed on a specific gene, whether if we tested it or not. If we're in situations like this, we're probably not going to have the means to test DNA. Okay, Cora?
That's not all a single family, though.
I'll be back in a bit.
But bye, Tim.
Hey, Megatron, what am I watching?
Oh my God, it's so good.
Okay, I'll stick with it.
Yeah. What was the name of it again?
Blink Twice.
Blink Twice.
They're all the communal kind of setting getting high.
He's got to get in there.
It's getting there.
No.
It's cool.
It's a great movie.
All right, I'm watching
Wait till you
it.
keep watching it. You haven't gotten to the good part yet. Wait till you get to the juicy part.
Waiting for the juice.
Yeah, I gotta go take a shower and take care of my scars and stuff. So I might see you later.
Wait, Cora, before you go, Cora, can I read to you one page from this new book I bought?
What is the book?
It's called The Key of the Mysteries.
Can I pay you to read my book on Clubhouse?
Yeah, I will for you, for sure.
I'll let you read it to Joanna because it'll probably land better with her. But I really left for nice. Yeah, I've been chilling with her. Bye, everyone.
Okay, this is page 83. It says,
And then we're going to work on reading my book on Clubhouse.
oh, do you want to do it right now? Give me a link.
Okay.
You can text it to me too, to my personal phone, or you can message me on Instagram or other ways. Or maybe here. I very rarely look at these messages on this app. It's all spam. So if you click the YouTube link above, you'll see a YouTube live stream of a Clubhouse room going on right now. It's nothing important, but I'm gonna update it to my office. Crazy, I can't update it. All right, well, let me read this page unless you have a link available, Joanna. Okay, this is page 83. It would be a mathematical demonstration of the infinite. It would be the infinite finite, the unknown known, the immeasurable measured, the indicible named. That is to say that dogma could only cease to be absurd in the eyes of reason to become, in the eyes of faith, science. A reason and good sense in one. The most monstrous and the most impossible of all absurdities. Remain the objections of dissent. The Jews, our fathers in religion, reproach us with having attacked the unity of God, with having changed the immutable and eternal law, with adoring the creature instead of the Creator. These heavy reproaches are founded on the perfectly false notion of Christianity. Our God is the God of Moses, unique, immaterial, infinite God, sole object of worship and ever the same. Like the Jews, we believe him to be present everywhere, but as they ought to do, we believe him living, thinking and loving in humanity, and we adore him in his works. We have not changed his law, for the Jewish Decalogue is also the law of Christians. The law is immutable because it is founded on the eternal principles of nature. But the worship necessitated by the needs of man may change and modify itself, parallel with the changes in men themselves. This signifies that the worship itself is immutable, but modifies itself as language does. Worship is a form of instruction. It is a language. One must translate it when nations no longer understand it. Okay, Joanna, could you have the ability for me to read it? Hello? We have translated and not destroyed the worship of Moses and the prophets. In adoring God in creation, we do not adore the creation itself. In adoring God in Jesus Christ, it is God alone whom we adore, but God united to humanity. In making humanity divine, Christianity has revealed the human divinity. The God of the Jews was inhuman because they did not understand him in his works. We are then more Israelite than the Israelites themselves. When they believe, we believe with them, and better than they do. They accuse us of having separated ourselves from them, and on the contrary, it is they who wish to separate from us. We wait for them, the heart and the arms wide open. We are, as they are, the disciples of Moses. Like them, we come from Egypt, and we detest its slavery, but we have entered into the promised land, and they obstinately abide and die in the desert. Mohammedans are the bastards of Israel, or rather, they are his disinherited brothers like Esau. The belief is illogical, for they admit that Jesus is a great prophet, and they treat Christians as infidels. They recognize the divine inspiration of Moses, yet they do not look upon the Jews as their brothers. They believe blindly in the blind prophet, the fatalist Muhammad, the enemy of progress and liberty. Nevertheless, do not let us take away from Muhammad the glory of having proclaimed the unity of God among the idolatrous Arabs. There are pure and sublime pages in the Quran. In reading those pages, one may say, with the children of Ishmael, there is no other God but God, and Muhammad is his prophet. There are 3 thrones in heaven for the 3 prophets of the nations, but at the end of time, Muhammad will be replaced by Elias. The Muslims do not reproach the Christians, they insult them. They call them infidels and giors, that is to say, dogs. We have nothing to reply to them. One must not refute the Turks and the Arabs. One must instruct and civilize them. Remain dissident Christians, that is to say, those who, having broken the bond of unity, declare themselves strangers to the charity of the Church. Greek Orthodoxy, that twin of the Roman Church, which has not grown greater since its separation, which counts no longer in religion, which since Photius has not inspired a single eloquence, is a church become entirely temporal, whose priesthood is no more than a function, regulated by the imperial policy of the Tsar of all, the Russias. Curious mummy of the primitive church, still colored and gilded with all its legends and all its rites, which its popes no longer understand, the shadow of a living church, but one which insisted on stopping when that church moved on, and which is now no more than its bloated out and heedless silhouette. Then the Protestants, those eternal regulators of anarchy, who have broken down dogma, and are trying always to fill the void with reasonings like the sieve of the Danaids, these weavers of religious fantasy, all of whose innovations are negative, who have formulated their own use, an unknown calling itself better known, mysteries better explained, a more defined infinite, a more restrained immensity, a more doubting faith, those who have quintessentialized the absurd, divided charity, and taken acts of anarchy for the principles of an entirely possible hierarchy, those men who wish to realize salvation by faith alone, because charity escapes them, and who can no longer realize it, even upon the earth, for the pretended sacraments are no longer anything but allegorical memories. They no longer give grace. They no longer make God seen and touched. They are no longer, in a word, the signs of the almighty power of faith, but the compelled witnesses of the eternal impotence of doubt. Ooh, we got Buttercup here. She's come in for her interview. I knew I'd catch you, Buttercup. I caught your vanity. I'm reading a book by Eliphas Levi. It's called The Key of the Mysteries. So, Buttercup, I like reading books. I'm wondering if you would ever read a book to create an audiobook, either something you wrote or AI wrote, or Benny Morrison. You love to always go back to to me, I'm wondering if you could answer this question, what is in these secret IDF files that, in your opinion, are so controversial? Because to me, they're just war chronicles of, people fighting. And you seem to think that they're secret, but there's no secret when it comes to war. It's like a violent, bloody struggle of survival of people individually competing to kill each other, which is horrible. But there's these like immutable laws of countries and cliques or tribes, and unfortunately, violence and war. Yikes, Buttercup. What are we gonna do? They seem to be consistent and status quo. So, yikes. Sucks, right? But a lot of things suck. She left. Buttercup left us. She wouldn't rise to the occasion. She is what we call a coward. Joanna, do you have it? Or shall I keep reading?
It's in the chat.
Okay, what's the name of it?
The Art Appraiser. I think it's just a sample, so it's just the first.
Okay, cool. I updated the room title.
Really? I'm gonna cry.
Don't cry.
I might. It's on Kindle.
Nina Palma. Oh my God. Wow. Look at this.
It's me. What? It's one of my books. You don't have to read it.
Okay, I'm going to read chapter 2, Mrs. Levi.
No, I like chapter 1 better.
Okay, you want chapter 1? Your choice.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Iris Pace by Nina
Yes.
Palma, the art appraiser. Iris woke up early to get to the train on time. Do you have a way to record this actually?
No.
Do you have another cell phone that you can like hit record and record?
Yes. I can do that.
Okay, let me know when you're ready. Because I want you to take this recording and upload it to Audible.
Just that one page?
Yeah, it'll be the sample so people can like preview it.
Okay, hold on.
And if we ever make a sale, I want you to send me $10.
Okay, no problem.
10, not 11, 10, not 9. Rabono Shalom. But I need you to create like a hard copy file. And we just got the bull rush, so that means the spirit is with us.
Okay, I have another phone. I have another iPhone. Let me go to voice recordings. I see the icon.
You can also upload this to Spotify with the Spotify Creators app.
I don't know if this phone has it. I don't see the voice record on here. Let me go down. Voice memo. Okay, allow. It's recording. 3, 2, 1, go.
This is The Art Appraiser by Nina Palma, read by John Kitover. This is chapter 1, Iris Pace. Iris woke up early to get to the train on time. The job interview was something she'd only dreamed of while at university. She was determined not to be late. Iris tried to keep up with the latest fashion. Today she wore a blue dress with buttons down the front, fitted jacket over it, and her beige bowler hat. She slipped into her new shoes, and looking in the mirror, she felt suitably dressed for the occasion. Iris stepped onto the streets of Berlin, where she always felt a great sense of pride. Berlin was steeped in culture. People came from all over Europe to see performances in the theater, to explore the nightlife and cabarets. Iris got on the train and took the empty seat next to the door. She was not sure what she would be asked on the interview, nor did she know what the position actually required. She adjusted her hat and went through her purse, trying to pass the time. Lately, she'd avoided newspapers, so she left the one next to her unread.
I can't use it now for Audible.
It's okay.
It's okay. Thank you so much for reading it. Thank you.
Oh, I was going to continue. Do you want me to continue?
Yeah, I would love you to. I'm moved.
Iris got on the train and took. Are you still recording?
Well, how am I gonna upload it with all that noise?
That's okay. People, it's like filming the people filming. People like
Oh,
the reality. It's just, again, it's just a sample. So whoever listens to this, I hope you buy the book because it's starting out great and I can tell it's amazing. So, but continue recording and we'll just finish it.
okay, I'm still recording.
Iris got on the train and took the empty seat next to the door. She was not sure what she would be asked on the interview, nor did she know what the position actually required. She adjusted her hat and went through her purse, trying to pass the time. Lately, she'd avoided newspapers, so she left the one next to her unread. The nearer the train approached her stop, the more anxious she became, though she was well versed in the art world and had an art degree to show for it. As the train neared the station, Iris peered out the window. A few people were stranded on the platform, but one man in particular caught her eye. He wore a gray suit and shiny black shoes. He stood with an air about him, as if he hadn't a care in the world. Iris got off the train and he greeted her. Miss Pace? Iris Pace? He extended his hand. Yes, sir. I'm Iris Pace. Pleased to meet you. Nick Himmel, he smiled, tipping his hat to reveal his blond hair and blue eyes. We have important matters to discuss regarding your new position. Come, there's a delightful cafe in the corner. He held out his hand for her to walk ahead. But, sir, I'm here to apply for the position. I have not been interviewed yet. Iris was puzzled. You stand corrected. The job is yours. We have important business, and you're qualified, Miss Pace. We need a girl like you. God knows the other candidates were not as well educated. Well, thank you, Iris said with confidence. Say, you'll come with me to get some coffee. They walked 2 blocks to a cafe. They were seated outside at a table with a yellow umbrella. My father has built quite a business in textiles, and now he has the notion of collecting art. Can you believe a man who worked his way up would want to buy art? Mr. Himmel mentioned to the waitress. What would the world be without art? Iris smiled. True, a successful man must have purpose. My father now wants to collect art, and he needs someone to appraise the paintings. With your art degree, I'm not trained in appraisal, sir. Renaissance, Impression, Abstract, and I hear you have studied Romanian and Italian artwork as well. Mr. Himmel certainly knew her educational background. Well, yes, Iris tried to explain. Well, that will do just fine. I'm sure the university familiarized you with all the well-known artists, as well as some up-and-coming ones, Mr. Himmel continued. But appraisal, that's the field of a specialist. Just then the waitress put down 2 cups of coffee in front of them. Of course, you'll be traveling around to locate certain pieces of interest, and well, whatever you come across that you are fond of. He took a small sip from his cup. Of course, Iris managed to say. There are 2 pieces we are looking at right now. How does tomorrow afternoon sound to you? Mr. Himmel looked directly at her, waiting her response. Tomorrow will be fine, Iris agreed. They spent about an hour in the cafe. Mr. Himmel spoke about his business and mostly listened. He went back to the train station. Iris was glad her train was waiting. She was wary of this man she had just met and wondered if she had made a mistake by coming. She decided to talk with her father about it, but then thought twice about the idea. Was there anything that should cause her suspicion? After all, she was educated, yet how did Mr. Himmel know so much about her? Perhaps he inquired about her from one of her teachers, and it was no cause for concern. Iris decided to put her mind at ease and tell her parents the good news.
Thank you so much. She will be working for the SS, and it gets really good to those who want to give it a chance. She will find out she is working for the Nazis, and that was beautifully read. I'm forever grateful.
Okay, that's by Nina Palma, The Art Appraiser, Chapter 1, Iris Pace. So I'm also putting this on in a clubhouse room, so I'll send you the link to that as well.
Okay. I'm honored that you read that. I know it sounds a little funny, but it gets better.
I'm also going to put it on X.
Wow.
Do you have an X account?
No, not anymore.
Well, if you get one, you can share the link that I'm putting up. Because you can create a room here on Clown House and then post that room to X and use hashtags and title it.
Really, thank you again. I'm getting a lot of money from this book, and I'm shocked that people are reading books about the war.
Well, it's your keyword. You're ranking for the word The Art Appraiser. So people are finding it because they're looking for, The Art Appraiser.
I'll be right back.
This has been The Art Appraiser by Nina Palma. We just read chapter 1, Iris Pace, a young girl who is going to a job interview, takes the train and gets offered the position on the spot.
That you just put your little, daughter in, and he wants to go in there and do his makeup or something. And then when you accuse him of being a man, he wants to put on a show and say, "Oh, first of all, my name is, Janet, and my pronoun is she and her, and I have the right to use this bathroom." Like, don't you think he's still putting on a performance, and therefore it's ridiculous? And you should be like, "Sir, you got to get out of the bathroom. You can't be in this bathroom, sir."
It depends on the person.
Does it really depend on the person, or shouldn't we have a level of standardization?
Some people that obviously do it because they're like narcissistic and have some sort of like histrionic personality disorder, and it feeds into that. It gets them the attention that they're seeking, right? But I'm also,
This has been The Art Appraiser by Nina Palma. We just read chapter 1, Iris Pace, a young girl who is going to a job interview, takes the train and gets offered the position on the spot. This has been The Art Appraiser by Nina Palma. We just read chapter 1, Iris Pace. So that's on my YouTube account called Reading Books ASMR.
Thank you.
I'm a publicist, Joanna.
I know.
I'm a marketer.
Okay, if I get book sales this month, I'll come give you a slice.
Yeah, give me a piece of pizza.
I will. I'm a woman of my word. Yep. She's working for the Nazis.
She's working to the limit. Limit.
Okay, I'm gonna change the room title. To prove to me your God and prophet are real. Okay, invite people to the room. I've updated the title and the link. Joanna, check out my YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. I'm wearing a new country western hat that I got on eBay. It's a giant white cowboy hat. It is a Scala western style hat. It's pretty dope. It's extra large. It's like painted or something. They put glaze on it or something to make it hard. I know you love, what's big and hard. Don't bump. We're also going to modify the powerful Dennis James and make him a mod. Powerful green bee. Powerful. Invite people to the room so they too can experience the power.
Yes.
Bull rush.
Hello نوها دلم برات خیلی تنگ شده الله اکبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم الحمدلله.
Okay, now is a good time to invite people to the room. Click at the top, hit the share button, invite people to the room. Take your little finger and click, 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 click.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Okay, we've updated the room to the Iran war because war is breaking out all across Iran at the present moment. A massive news break. The war with Iran has begun.
In your face. And ain't nobody jumping. That tells you everything about this country. It tells you everything about how these motherfuckers really move.
So is this a partisan issue where like Democrats are saying, "Oh, the Republicans are responsible"?
Both sides are involved.
Okay,
Democrats
gotcha.
and Republicans. Yeah, this ain't a partisan thing.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they both involved.
A lot of it was regarding kids. I forgot which country it is. I was reading an article like a year ago where they made child pornography legal. Like you could legally have it and not get arrested. And then that thing that's going on in Florida, we are then with the age of I forget what it is.
Listen, man, take this room title out your mouth because the Epstein files are not more important than Black History Month. Jesse Jackson just died, for praise the Lord. Put Jesse Jackson in the Capitol building. Let Jesse Jackson have a state proper burial. Please, praise Lord Jesus. Jesse Jackson, please, Lord. Stop muting me, Lord Jesus. Jesus, Jesse Jackson died for your sins. Jesse Jackson died for your sins. Bury Jesse Jackson with some honors.
Oh, never mind. I had to realize it was. Yeah, that's a troll.
But you know what blew me that I really had to educate myself on? The adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome!
It wasn't just about the molestation. It wasn't about raping. It wasn't just about murdering. Whatever is released into our blood when our adrenaline is flowing, the wealthy white people thinks that keeps them youth. They inject that into themselves. They put it on their skin, all these different things. So all them videos that you see with them kids screaming and they're putting like tubs under them, they were like breeding babies with no birth certificates, because when you have kids with no birth certificates, obviously it's easy to get rid of, but they are breeding babies and just having them and raising them to be whatever ages, and then like torturing them so that the adrenaline would enter their blood, please just look the shit up. It's called adrenochrome.
Hello? It is then against faith itself that the Reformation protested. Protestants were right only in their protest against the inconsiderate and persecuting zeal which wished to force consciences. They claimed the right to doubt, the right to have less religion than others, or even to have none at all. They have shed their blood for that said privilege, they conquered it, they possess it. But they will not take away from us that of pitying them and loving them. When the need to believe again takes them, when their heart revolts against the tyranny of a falsified reason, when they become tired of the empty abstractions of their arbitrary dogma, of the vague observances of their ineffective worship, when the communion with the real presence, the churches without divinity, and the morality without grace finally frighten them, when they are sick with the nostalgia of God, will they not rise up like the prodigal son and come to throw themselves at the feet of the successor of Peter, saying, Father, we have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and we are no more worthy to be called thy sons, but count us among the humblest of thy servants? We will not speak of the criticism of Voltaire. Their great mind was dominated by an ardent love of truth and justice, but he lacked the rectitude of heart which the intelligence of faith gives. Voltaire could not admit faith, because he did not know how to love. Spirit of charity did not reveal itself to that soul which had no tenderness, and he bitterly criticized the hearth of which he did not feel the warmth, the lamp of which he did not see the light. If religion were such as he saw it, he would have been 1,000 times right to attack it, and one would be obliged to fall on one's knees before the heroism of his courage. Voltaire would be the Messiah of good sense, the Hercules destructor of fanaticism. But he laughed too much to understand him, who said, Happy are they who weep, and the philosophy of laughter will never have anything in common with the religion of tears. Voltaire parodied the Bible, dogma, and worship, and then he mocked and insulted that parody. Only those who recognize religion in Voltaire's parody, can take offense at it. The Voltairians are like the frogs in the fable who leap upon the log and then make fun of royal majesty. They are at liberty to take the log for a king. They are at liberty to make once more that Roman caricature of which Tertullian once made mirth, that which represented the God of the Christians under the figure of a man with an ass's head. Christians will shrug their shoulders when they see this knavery, and pray God for the poor ignorants who imagine that they insult them. The Count Joseph de Maistre, after having, in one of his most eloquent paradoxes, represented the hangman as a sacred being and permanent incarnation of divine justice upon earth, suggested that one should raise to the old man of Ferney a statue executed by the hangman,
There is depth in this thought. Voltaire, in effect, also was, in the world, a being at the same time providential and fatal, endowed with insensibility for the accomplishment of his terrible functions. He was, in the domain of intelligence, a hangman, an exterminator armed with the justice of God himself. God sent Voltaire. Between the century of Bossuet and that of Napoleon, in order to destroy everything that separates those two geniuses and to unite them in one alone, he was the Samson of the spirit, always ready to shake the columns of the temple. But in order to make him turn in spite of himself the mill of religious progress, Providence made him blind of heart. Article 5, Solution of the last problem. To separate religion from superstition and fanaticism. Superstition, from the Latin word superstes, surviving, is the sign which survives the idea which it represents. It is the form preferred to the thing. The right without reason, faith become insensate through isolating itself. It is in consequence the corpse of religion, the death of life, stupefaction substituted for inspiration. Fanaticism is superstition become passionate. Its name comes from the word fanum, which signifies temple. It is the temple put in the place of God. It is the human and temporal interest of the priest substituted for the honor of priesthood. The wretched passion of the man exploiting the faith of the believer. In the fable of the ass loaded with relics, La Fontaine tells us that the animal thought that he was being adored. He did not tell us that certain people indeed thought that they were adoring the animal. These people were the superstitious. If anyone had laughed at their stupidity, he would very likely have been assassinated. For from superstition to fanaticism is only one step. Superstition is religion interpreted by stupidity. Fanaticism is religion serving as a pretext to fury. Those who intentionally and maliciously confound religion itself with superstition and fanaticism borrow from stupidity its blind prejudices, and would borrow perhaps in the same way from fanaticism its injustices and angers. Inquisitors or Septembrisors, what matter names? The religion of Jesus Christ condemns, and has always condemned, assassins. Okay, this is page 91, resume of the first part in the form of a dialogue. Faith, science, reason. Science. You will never make me believe in the existence of God. Faith. You have not the privilege of believing, but you will never prove to me that God does not exist. Science. In order to prove it to you, I must first know what God is. Faith. You will never know it. If you knew it, you could teach it to me, and when I knew it, I should no longer believe it. Science. Do you then believe without knowing what you believe? Faith. Oh, do not let us play with words. It is you who do not know what I believe, And I believe it precisely because you do not know it. Do you pretend to be infinite? Are you not stopped at every step by mystery? Mystery is for you an infinite ignorance which would reduce to nothing your finite knowledge if I did not illumine it with my burning aspirations. And if, when you say, I no longer know, I did not cry. As for me, I begin to believe. Science. But your aspirations and their object are not and cannot be for me anything but hypotheses. Faith, doubtless, but they are certainties for me, since without these hypotheses I should be doubtful even about your certainties. Science, but if you begin where I stop, you begin always too rashly and too soon. My progress bears witness that I am ever advancing. Faith, what does your progress matter if I am always walking in front of you? Science, you walking? Dreamer of eternity, you have disdained earth too much. Your feet are benumbed. Faith, I make my children carry me. Science, they are blind, carrying the blind. Beware of precipices. Faith, no, my children are by no means blind. On the contrary, they enjoy twofold sight. They see by thine eyes what thou canst show them upon earth, and they contemplate by mine what I show them in heaven. Science, what does reason think of it? Reason, I think, my dear teachers, that you illustrate a touching fable, that of the blind man and the paralytic. Science reproaches faith with not knowing how to walk upon the earth, and faith says that science sees nothing of her aspirations and of eternity in the sky. Instead of quarreling, science and faith ought to unite. Let science carry faith, and let faith console science by teaching her to hope and to love. Science, it is a fine ideal, but utopian. Faith will tell me absurdities. I prefer to walk without her. Faith, what do you call absurdities? Science, I call absurdities propositions contrary to my demonstrations, as for example, that three make one, that a God has become man, that is to say, that the infinite has made itself finite, that the eternal died, that God punished his innocent son for the sin of guilty men. Faith, say no more about it. As enunciated by you, these propositions are in fact absurdities. Do you know what is the number of God? You who do not know God, can you reason about the operations of the unknown? Can you understand the mysteries of charity? It must always be absurd for you, for if you understood them, my affirmations would be absorbed by your theorems. I should be you, and you would be me, or to put it better, I should no longer exist, and reason, in the presence of the infinite, would halt, blinded forevermore by your doubts, which are as infinite as space. Science, at least you should never usurp my authority, or give me the lie in my own domains. Faith, I have never done so, and I could never do so. Science, so? You have never believed, for example, that a virgin could become a mother without ceasing to be a virgin. In the physical, natural, positive order of things, in spite of all the laws of nature, you do not affirm that a piece of bread is not only a god, but a real human body with its bones and its veins, its organs, its blood, such, in short, that you make of your children who eat this bread a little race of cannibals. Faith, There is not a single Christian who would not be revolted by what you have just said. That sufficiently proves that they do not understand my teachings in this positive and gross sense. The supernatural which I affirm is above nature, and consequently could never oppose itself to her. The words of faith are understood only by faith. Science has only to repeat them to pervert their proper sense. I employ these words because I have no others. But since you find my remarks absurd, you should conclude from that I give to the same words a meaning which escapes you. When the Savior revealed the dogma of the real presence, did he not say, "The flesh profiteth nothing, but my words are spirit and life"? I do not give you the mystery of the incarnation for an anatomical phenomenon, nor that of transubstantiation for a chemical manipulation. By what right do you exclaim absurd? And do not reason about any of the things you know. By what right do you say that I talk unreasonably? Science. I begin to understand you, or rather I see that I shall never understand you. This being so, let us remain separate. I shall never have need of you, Faith. I am less proud, and I recognize that you may be useful to me, perhaps. Perhaps, too, you will be very sad and very desperate without me, and I will not leave you unless reason consents. I'm reading The Key of the Mysteries by Rabbi Eliphas Levi.
Okay. Thank you.
Reason. Be well, where of doing so, I am necessary to both of you. And I, what should I do without you? In order to be just, I need to know and to believe, but I must never confound what I know with what I believe. To know is to believe no longer. To believe is not to know as yet. The object of science is the known. Faith does not occupy itself with that and leaves it all to science. The object of faith is the unknown. Science may seek it but not define it. She is then obliged, at least provisionally, to accept the definitions of faith, which it is impossible for her even to criticize. Only, if science renounces faith, she renounces hope and love, whose existence and necessity are as evident for science as for faith. Faith, as a psychological fact, pertains to the realm of science, and science, as the manifestation of the light of God within the human intelligence, pertains to the realm of faith. Science and faith must then admit each other, respect each other mutually, support each other, and bear each other aid in case of need, but without ever encroaching the one upon the other. The means of uniting them is never to confound them. Never can there be contradiction between them. For although they use the same words, they do not speak the same language. Faith. Oh, well, Sister Science, what do you say about it? Science, I say that we are separated by a deplorable misunderstanding, and that henceforth we shall be able to walk together. But to which of your different creeds do you wish to attach me? Shall I be Jewish, Catholic, Mohammedan, or Protestant? Faith, you will remain science, and you will be universal. Science, that is to say Catholic, if I understand you correctly. But what should I think of the different religions? Faith, but what should I think of the faith? Judge them by their works. Seek true charity, and when you have found her, ask her to which religion she belongs. Science, it is certainly not that of the Inquisition and of the authors of the massacre of St. Bartholomew. Faith, it is to that of St. John the Almoner, of St. Francois de Sales, of St. Vincent de Paul of Fenelon, and so many more.
Could you start over? I missed the first part. Could you start over, please?
No, Norm. Just stop it. Stop being a dick.
Isn't it amazing we got to St. Bartholomew and that of St. John? I mean, it's amazing how we're named. Like, there's a reason why I'm called John. And it's not just because of Christianity, because John in Greek means Hermes. And Bartholomew, aka Barth, aka, Megatron. See, Transformers is the perfect metaphor. Let me ask you a question, Cora. Besides talking all the time, do you know how to breathe?
Yeah, I know how to breathe better than most people.
You're a breather.
I'm a trained singer.
I would put my tongue up her nostrils. That's what I would do.
I'm a trained breather. Thank you.
You're a fucking mouth breather, Norm.
No, I breathe through my nice
Don't do
breather.
that. John, don't do that.
Excuse me, Cora? Don't do what? Pardon me, madam? I'm odd Norm because I love Norm, and Norm is a good man. How dare you tell me not to do that, Cora? Don't you know the chain of succession for green beaning? I green beaned you, Cora. I green bean everybody. So, why don't you learn to breathe instead of learning how to talk all the time? Hello? Spiritus. Breath. How do you say breath in Hebrew, El Norma? Ruach.
Oh, yes.
What does Ruach mean to you, Cora?
Well, Ruach breathes the spirit into life into Adam. That's how I remember it.
Yeah, it's the breath of Sophia.
The breath of Sophia. I once knew a beautiful Greek girl named Sophia. Wow, what a beauty.
I know a beautiful Jewish girl named Sophia. Also a beauty.
It means rose, right?
What?
In, Turkey or whatever, in Istanbul, isn't it called the Mosque of the Sophia? Doesn't it mean like the Rose Mosque or something?
Hagia Sophia.
Hagia Sophia. I was there recently. Yeah, they took a Constantine.
Busy Byzantine church. Yeah.
They took a Constantinople era Orthodox church and turned it into a big mosque. It's right across from the Blue Mosque, which was also a church. They didn't destroy it, though, which they sometimes do. They just hung banners over the pictures of saints and Jesus and Mary. Banners with Arabic lettering on them.
Well, it's called the Torah. The Torah.
Laura, check your DMs.
Okay.
What about Torah, Megatron?
You know what I really love about Clubhouse is when people say...
You taught them all of the menstruation Talmudic verses, and they fell in love with it.
Family Purity, Nita. Yeah, that was a good day. Yeah, I'm glad you were listening, Megatron.
You know what I love about Clubhouse is when people say check your DMs. If everybody can click the YouTube link above,
Check the DM. Hold on a second.
can everybody subscribe to my YouTube channel to help support the work of John Kitover? Because I've been reading a lot of books and I try to live my life by what I read, and it's transformative. One of the books I recently read.
Still taking donations?
We are, but we don't need financial donations.
Right now.
Clown Town? What was that, Cora? Did you just?
Well, I know you relish being a clown, but there's like other clown. It's like majority clown in the room right now.
Well, are you clown phobic? You're clown.
I have a clown friend.
Yeah, there's actually a word for that. Yeah.
It's transphobic, right?
No, that's not nice. There's actually a name for that if you're scared of clowns. What is that, Norm?
Transphobic.
No.
Hello? I thought this was a transphobic room because Cora said she's clownphobic because right now there's a lot of clowns.
Coulrophobia. C-O-U.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Norm. Yes.
You're welcome.
Isn't that just?
not
to
slot.
I like to provide solid information.
Isn't that just another word for clownphobic?
Googled it, Norm, like this, if you're like this, like
What's that? What's that, Cora?
All you did was Google it. It's not like you're like.
Well, I wouldn't go with it as well. I mean, I knew the term
Yeah,
existed.
you did it, David.
Cora, you're very interested in me. You talk about me a lot. What's the deal with that?
She's having radiation procedure done on her breasts right now.
Insert yourself in every conversation. It's kind of hard not to talk about it.
Isn't that what
Mike, I don't know. Well, he has Cora, so
Also, he has one of those medals.
Yeah, I'm a medal winner. I'm an Olympic clubhouse person.
Look at that, Corey. He's got more karma than you. And so does Daniel and
I
Megatron.
have 1,300 karma, but apparently that's too low. I don't know how much is a good karma.
El Normo's in the top.
I asked certain people and they wouldn't tell me their karma.
Wow.
Somebody told me their karma and there was 2,500.
Let's see Daniel's karma.
So
oh my God.
It's like asking somebody their weight.
Like the first time I went to Bitcoin, I was like, "How many Bitcoin do you have?" And they all yelled at me. So
David, you've got 2 P.
You asked them how much Bitcoin they have?
Well, certain people, yeah.
David, I got a question for you. You have 2 PhDs, one in math, etc. And so if we look at El Normo's karma points, which is at 10% or 0.1%, I want to ask you a statistic question. Can you tell us what the word magnitude means, David, relative, to mathematics? Hello?
So when it comes to math questions, I only take them based on how much money can I become the answer. So if you want to pay me, I will certainly answer your question.
Okay, I'll give you $1 in the honor of the Rebbe if you could define the word magnitude to me.
So for a question like that, I would request $150.
Okay, done.
Cash me anytime.
Done. But I'll give you the money after you define magnitude. I will send you the $150.
Well, with all due respect, I don't trust you enough for you to send.
Why can't I get a straight answer out of you anymore?
I trust Norman enough that he would give me the money, but no respect.
Why can't I get a straight answer out of you anymore?
Anymore? Have you ever been able to? Like, what are you?
No, that's my Michael Corleone impersonation, Cora. Don't you watch movies? It's from The Godfather.
I haven't seen The Godfather since I was like 8 years old. Like, whatever.
Is that
8 years old? You were that young when you watched.
El Normo, Cora shared a very traumatic story with us today.
To watch that movie at 8 years old.
Dude, I used to watch Falcon Crest all the time with my grandma.
What is Falcon Crest on it?
El Normo, Cora was being sexually abused as a child and was being forced to suck her babysitter's brother's cock.
I think you should say stuff like that.
No, this is part of the room history now because we asked her earlier what her most traumatic. And I just say that I was at. Well, I called it the aristocrats. Cora just called it her trauma story because we don't know if it's real or not. But we do know when a man goes into a bathroom at Target, he's not hitting the mark. The trans man at Target doing a performative art show as a they, them, to me, Cora doesn't believe in national federal laws with regards to gender bathrooms.
Technically, non-binary people aren't trans. They're just kind of in the middle.
Non-binary trans people are not trans. They're in the middle. What does all that even fucking mean anymore? I don't even understand any of this. Do I care? No, I don't care.
I'm tertiary.
I'm trans. I'm racially trans. I'm a triracialist because I'm a Mischling, patrilineal, Jew, a Christian and a Buddhist, Iberian, German, English. I'm like a quadriracialist. Hello?
Have you asked John if he's a real Jewish person? Is he really a Jewish person?
What he's telling you, I believe to be the truth.
Yeah.
So he is a Jewish person.
My dad is Jewish, if that's what you consider to be Jewish.
People in other rooms who say that he's not real.
I'm not a Jew by the law.
He's more Jewish than most of the people I meet on Clubhouse.
Just about everybody.
Well,
just about everybody in the world has some level of Levantine or Arabian Peninsula.
I mean, he's more Jewish than Rabbi.
That doesn't make them a Jew. Right?
He's more Jewish than Randy McDickerson.
That's right. That's right.
I'm just saying, much like it's easy to claim your
David, both my grandparents are Jewish. My dad is Jewish. My dad remarried a Jew. And I always tell my gorgeous mother, don't you think it's amazing that that dad, married a Jew, that was his destiny? To have a soulmate who is Jewish? Hello? Cora, are you still looking for love in your life?
No, I don't need any more men.
You're not looking for love?
Oh, well, that explains a lot.
There you go, El Normo. We solved it.
What are you talking about, Norm?
We solved it. We hit the nail on the head.
We're talking about the previous 3 sentences.
We put the camel turd on the camel head.
Or women in my life?
No, you seem bitter and angry and irascible.
No, I'm not.
Resentful. Well, you act that way.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, that's your perception of me because
No, it's not. It's the way you behave.
I know you are, but what am I?
You should think about that.
just because I don't fawn over you, like
No, that's
you're
no.
gonna frame me in a
No,
naked
just
light.
listen to your
I
voice
won't
right now.
fawn over you and your fake out fucking persona.
Oh, they ended the room. Holy shit. Somebody boomed it.
Or that binds people.
Okay, it's all gonna be okay. The truth is the birth and death earth. This is a watermelon show. Reason, be well aware of doing so. I am necessary to both of you. And what should I do without you? In order to be just, I need to know and to believe. But I must never confound what I know with what I believe. To know is to believe no longer. To believe is not to know as yet. The object of science is the known. Faith does not occupy itself with that, and leaves it all to science. The object of faith is the unknown. Science may seek it but not define it. She is then obliged. Oh, actually, we read all this. It is to that of St. John, the almoner of St. Francois de Sales and St. Vincent de Paul and Fenelon and so many more. Subnote, Levi was certainly never the dupe of this boudoir theologian. He accepted him without perusal as the Englishman accepts Shakespeare and Milton. Science. Admit that if religion has produced much good, she has also done much evil. Faith. When one kills in the name of the God who said, "Thou shalt not kill," when one persecutes in the name of him who commands us to forgive our enemies, when one propagates darkness in the name of him who tells us not to hide the light under a bushel, is it just to attribute the crime to the very law which condemns it? Say, if you wish to be just, that in spite of religion, much evil has been done upon earth, but also to how many virtues has it not given birth? How many are the devotions? How many the sacrifices of which we do not know? Have you counted those noble hearts, both men and women, who renounced all joys to enter the service of all sorrows? Those souls devoted to labor and to prayer, who have strewn the pathways with good deeds, who founded asylums for orphans, and old men, hospitals for the sick, retreats for the repentant. These institutions, as glorious as they are modest, are the real works with which the annals of the Church are filled. Religious wars and the persecution of heretics belong to the politics of savage centuries. The heretics, moreover, were themselves murderers. Have you forgotten the burning of Michael Servetus and the massacre of our priests, renewed still in the name of humanity and reason by the revolutionaries who hated the Inquisition and the massacre of St. Bartholomew? Men are always cruel, it is true, but only when they forget the religion whose watchwords are blessing and pardon. Science, oh faith, pardon me that if I cannot believe, but I know now why you believe. I respect your hopes and share your desires. But I must find by seeking, and in order to seek, I must doubt. Reason, work, then, and seek, O science, but respect the oracles of faith. When your doubt leaves a gap in universal enlightenment, allow faith to fill it. Walk distinguish the one from the other, but leaning the one upon the other, and you will never go astray. Okay, part 2, philosophical mysteries, preliminary considerations.
I love eat flavored ice.
Yeah, so I still drink milk simply because of the calcium. Like, I don't, as women get older. So, I just love, like, good creamy chocolate milk. But, that's why I went on